Hi everyone, it's Danny. Okay, I hope you had some great holidays. So let's get back to our orchid business. Everything cleared up, so I have more time to shoot videos now. Okay, so today we're going to discuss about orchid maintenance, mainly removing old sheaths from orchids, those who have them, and so on, and why it's good to actually remove them. Also cut dried flower spikes and dried leaves, and so on. Okay, so orchids which produce pseudobulbs, you might know this, produce sheaths as well. What is a sheath? Well, practically it is either a layer of a protecting leaf, either an adaptation of the leaf which covers the pseudobulb while it's forming and it protects it. When its job is done, the protective sheath will dry off because it doesn't need to protect anything. At this point, it is a good idea to try to remove this as much as you can. Try to remove the excess layer of the dried sheath. This is a good idea because underneath the sheath, there can be quite a lot of pests that can hide. And even if you treat your orchid with pesticides or other products, you will actually not reach into the sheath and the bugs will stay there unbothered. Removing the sheaths will actually provide some help against rot of any kind. If you remember, I did a video about a camellia orchid which started to rot underneath the sheath because it was not removed and water got trapped there. So this is another benefit of removing the sheath. Also, it is quite important to try to remove the dried flower spikes and the dried leaf and so on, because if they fall into the media, they will start to accumulate molds and stuff like that, and it will not be a pretty sight and it will not be beneficial for the orchid. Now, the orchid in front of you is a Signotus. Practically all catasetum type orchids have these sheaths, and when the orchid will go into its dormancy, when the leaves dry off and fall, you can start to remove the sheath because it's not beneficial for the orchid in any way at this point. It's not protecting the pseudobulb anymore, and it can actually hold pests and water, excess water. Another orchid that produces sheaths is the famous camellia orchid. Now, you can start to remove this sheath when you see that it is completely dry and it peels off quite fast like this. When the sheath on the pseudobulb is still green like this, do not remove it because you might damage something. The pseudobulb might still be forming. In any case, it will not peel off that easily. Just be careful that you do not get any water right here because you might rot the pseudobulb. But once the sheath is dried, just like this, you are safe to gently remove it. Be patient with it and it's gonna go away pretty fast, and what's left behind is a pretty green pseudobulb. Because I had a question related to sheaths from a viewer of mine, I would like to also add that this new bulb that's growing does not need any peeling off. Just keep in mind that you do not need to get any water. Inside it, there are layers practically like an onion, so if you get water somewhere where these layers meet, you can actually rot the new growth. This is the major, let's say, sensitive spot of camellia orchids, so only remove the sheaths when they are dried like this, as much as you can without actually scratching the pseudobulb. Some dendrobiums have easy to remove sheaths as well, although not all of them, so wherever you can actually remove them. This is a Dendrobium fleckeri, and it's actually quite easy to clean off with two hands, of course. There are those, however, who cannot really be cleaned off that easily, and I will mention here the Phalaenopsis dendrobium. But as much as you can try to remove the sheaths from this guy as well, but I don't think you'll do a very good job at it. But any other type of dendrobium which has sheaths that can be removed, it's okay to try to remove them as well, because they will only harbor pests and excessive water. With dendrobiums and intergenerics, you will not necessarily find sheaths, but what you will find is that in time, the old leaves will dry off. At this point, it's a good idea to try to remove gently the dried portion of the leaf left behind. This is again because it can accumulate water right next to the bulb and it can rot it. You don't have to butcher your orchid. As much as you can, try to remove it without damaging the orchid. If it doesn't want to come off just yet, this is not yet super dry, then you can leave it for another week. And in the meantime, be careful not to trap any water inside. But when it gets super dry, you can try to pluck it out or even cut it from the base. Now there's another sheath that I didn't mention, and this is the Cattleya blooming sheath. I don't know how to differentiate between them using words, so I'll just say a blooming sheath of a Cattleya orchid. You can see a new sheath should be green, and inside it some buds should develop. This protects the buds while they are forming, but in some cases the sheath can actually go very dry like this. Now in this case I suggest that you do not remove it in any way, because you might have the surprise that your Cattleya will actually bloom from the dried sheath as well. I had some Cattleyas which bloomed from a year-old sheath which was dried for a whole year, and still it produced buds. So these type of sheaths, let them be. Okay everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something new. I have to admit I'm not very thorough sometimes with my orchids and with removing the sheaths, but I will try to do that as I have a spider mite infestation, and I am betting there are spider mites that are hiding in there, and all my efforts to remove them will have been in vain if they are trapped somewhere where water will not get in. Okay, so if you have questions or suggestions for me, just leave me a comment and I'll answer. If you want to watch more videos, just subscribe to my channel, and thank you for joining. I'll see you next time. Bye!